Here we are again, brothers and sisters. Not due to be on until 8 o'clock, but I decided to get early on it. And maybe if we start early now, that these devils won't be able to destroy or get in the way of this show. As I said to you before, I say it again, that there is a plan. There is a plan to destroy the teachings of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. There's a plan to do it. And there's a reason why. There's a reason they have a plan to destroy the teachings. There's a reason. Because they know that it's the best thing that black men got going. It doesn't matter if you're in the Christian church. It doesn't matter if you're in the Muslim church. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I use the term church loosely. It doesn't matter what temple or church or whatever you call it that you're in. The last thing that this white man want in this day of deliverance is for you and I to be thinking and saying the same thing. He don't even want us with one another. He don't want it. So, brothers and sisters, we have a challenge. We have a challenge because we got a devil trying to stop our momentum. Now, proof of which, I had to stop this show. It seemed that the devil was buffering the show every 5 seconds, and you couldn't even hear what I was saying. I was getting the same problem on Facebook earlier as I was putting out material, hoping to sell it because we need the money, and I'm not ashamed to say that. I'll tell you, because I know that what we're putting out is the truth, and we've got to put it out. And he's attacked us for putting out the truth and even trying to destroy the clientele that we have for the clinic. This is this American white man that Farrakhan calls his friend. I mean, here the man is with virtual racism, physical racism, historical racism, and this misled brother, because that's what he is, can hardly call him a spiritual leader. Can hardly call Farrakhan a spiritual leader. You can't do it. Because he's not acting like it. He was brought in as an agent. His job, now to show you how confused he is and how much he's trying to dupe you and dupe me, you'll see. We're back, brother. Greetings and peace. Greetings and peace, brother M5. We're back. To show you how, and I want to thank you for that advice, brother. That was powerful advice, and I appreciate it. To show you how confused Farrakhan is, Master Farad Muhammad is described as God in person. I'm sure you would agree because this is all the teaching. You don't even have to be a Muslim to understand that. You don't even have to be a Muslim to understand that. And to show you how twisted he is and how messed up he is, he's starting to call himself the Messiah. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy that Farrakhan will call himself the Messiah when Master Farad Muhammad has already come to give the message to the black man, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, who was to disperse it. The Holy Apostle was to disperse this to us. And it tells you that he's distorted. Now, the whole purpose in the breakdown, because I got to tell you about all the agents involved. All the agents involved, I got to tell you about it. Excuse me. The whole purpose in the breakdown was to get you looking at Farrakhan as a holy leader and then he'd be able to misuse you. So you look and you'll see how Farrakhan, when he's brought in as an agent, I say again, he's an agent. When he was brought in as an agent, how he was supposed to be trained by Minister Malcolm, how he was supposed to, once he was trained, how he was supposed to grab the cloak, so to speak, of that same ministry and go farther. So his entire purpose was to act dedicated, but to cause confusion in the history. You'll see that Minister Farrakhan, Wallace Warwick Dean Muhammad, John Ali, the National Press Secretary, and another brother that served time in the prison with Minister Malcolm came out. They used the term Brother Baines, which meant John. So John X. That when these individuals, who he wasn't very significant, but Joseph X was very significant. Joseph X was. But how they were supposed to cause confusion. Cause the confusion. Now, Joseph X didn't come in as an agent, but Louis Farrakhan did change him. And if you look, you'll see pictures with him and Minister Farrakhan as even prior to any division between Minister Malcolm and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, or Minister Malcolm versus the Fruit of Islam. You have to think of it that way because he himself organized and trained that fruit. And Joseph X was loyal follower of Minister Malcolm before his vision of Minister Malcolm was distorted. And I say that the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad had nothing at all to do with trouble against Minister Malcolm. As a matter of fact, he told them all to leave Minister Malcolm alone. He told Minister Malcolm to put out the fire that he had started, and he intended to see him back as a nation man, starting himself from the bottom to show humility and then rising back up from the top. And that's the truth. So, in not only did I have that account, but I had many accounts. And it also had an interview with Sister Betty X. This is in 1986, 1988. Then I had a chance to do another interview, which she had known me from 1986 to 1988. Then I had a chance to do another interview in 1995 during the incident where Farrakhan appeared to be concerned about the one daughter that he and the CIA said tried to kill him. Now here Farrakhan is surrounded by all these people, right? Isn't that right? Surrounded by all of these Muslims, these FOI. So it's impossible you have to use your brain. It's impossible for her to even penetrate them to even get to Farrakhan. But it was just something used to make him relevant again. You got to understand that. You got to understand it. Brothers and sisters, if you don't understand it, you're finished. So you got to understand it. You got to understand it. I remember, brothers and sisters, very well, and I tell you this, in the study, I remember when this contention began with the brother, misguided brother, James Best. Now, and I want you to understand this. I'm about to say something, and I want you to research it. Excuse me. Everything I say, I want you to research it because it's very important. Now, I want you to understand that this James Best had been influenced by leaders in the nation that were COINTELPRO, and they sort of he was young. He had been in since like the predate is as early as 1960, somewhere between 1958 and 1960 when he came in. But around he gets a post with papers, selling these papers. And he's fascinated with the movement, more so fascinated with Louis Farrakhan, who is young. And at the time he's called Louis X, who is young at that time. Very young. So him being young, he's able to identify with Farrakhan. And he is really attached to Minister Farrakhan. He's attached to him. Now, and here he is, this young James Best had been implicated. I want you to understand this. Had been implicated, one of the individuals implicated in the death of Minister Malcolm. This is he was flown from California in late 64, early 65. He's flown from California, late 64, early 65. This is James Best, the same James Best that shot Dr. Khalid Muhammad. The same one. So I hope you understand this. I hope you're getting it. The same one that shot Dr. Khalid was friends with Minister Farrakhan in the nation prior to the quote-unquote fall. The nation's never fallen, but Farrakhan said it's falling. It was commercialized that it was falling because it would keep your eyes off of the nation that was still standing under the tutelage of our brother Silas Muhammad. So you have to remember that. It's a game playing. The game is going. Why? Because don't the scripture said that Satan is the prince of the air? Well, he's controlling all the commercialization by television and now social media. Well, back then it was just television. He was controlling that. He's controlling the newspapers. He's controlling your brain waves. Everything you read, he's able to get it in. Anytime you read, he's got his lies out there. And if you don't research it, he's able to get it in. So James Best was floating around. When this split began to happen, that's what the devil calls it. That's how you know he's involved. When this rift began to happen, he said that Minister Malcolm wanted power, the same power that Elijah Muhammad has. That's what he said. Wallace Waradeen Muhammad was to come in talking about these sexual problems that the messenger was having. I mean, just total disrespect and total evil and dirtiness and pestilential type of message carrying. Don't forget the thumbs up, brothers and sisters. Like and subscribe, please. I appreciate all the attention you're giving to the show. And when Wallace Waradeen Muhammad carried this, his main job was to get it to Minister Malcolm. That was his main job. He gets it to him, but he said he wanted to get in the original announcement of this, because Minister Malcolm was seen as a son. Wallace manipulated and connivingly talked as if he was bringing some message to Minister Malcolm so that they could help do something for the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. So it was almost as if Joshua and Caleb were going to hold up the hands of Moses. And you have to see the most honorable minister, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad as a Moses type figure. That's what he was. That's what he was. He gave us the 100% true, full gospel of what we needed to do in order to get out of this mess that we're still in. Greetings, Sister D. Glad you're back to join us. Brother Clarence, glad you back to join us. And so, Brother Clarence, we're definitely going to talk about Dr. Khalid in this. That's why this is a must listen. This is a must hear. And so when you see this breakdown begin to happen because of these traps and satires that are being set, Minister Malcolm, who was the only in this group of leaders, is the only sincere brother amongst these wolves, the only sheep amongst these wolves, who had set out, who had been hired to destroy the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad and the NOI. So two splinter groups come out of this. You have the American version of Islam, right? Isn't that right? Which was called the Sunni, the American Sunni Islam movement. And then you had what? You had the Nation of Islam as it relates to Minister Louis Farrakhan. Peace and blessing, brother Baba Del Rey. And so these two groups, with commercialization that the Nation of Islam had been splintered and destroyed, was supposed to wipe out the teachings of the messenger, the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Supposed to wipe the teachings out. Now, I just this evening, because I've been catching hell, I want to tell you, just refuted two lies that are out there. First of all, the destruction of the Nation of Islam. This is a lie. If you look in Houston, Texas, you'll see that the Southern unit is still running strong, which was the last strongest unit that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad set through the honorable Silas Muhammad. If you look, you'll find out that the Nation of Islam, Lost and Found Nation of Islam, is still going on. It's never stopped. It's never stopped. But to get Wallace Waradeen Muhammad before the people, and to get Louis Farrakhan before the people, and to commercialize that they had destroyed the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, then ignorant brothers and sisters that didn't know any better would think that the Nation of Islam was no longer in existence. But that's not true. That's not true. You have Silas Muhammad in the South with a massive following of nation members in the thousands. You have on the West Coast, you got the Nation of Islam as it relates to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, Lost and Found Nation of Islam. In Detroit, you got the Lost and Found Nation of Islam as it relates to Muhammad, which is not as strong as it was because Minister Farrakhan went up there lying and hobgobbling and with demonic teachings, where he put Muslims against Muslims. I'm telling you what I know. Literally put Muslims against Muslims. Because that's what he does. That's what he does. And he would rather that Muslims would shoot each other out. He has no message, brothers and sisters, for black brothers and sisters that are out there on the streets. He has no message for the Christian brothers and sisters because they see right through him the minute that he began to say that these white people could come inside the nation. Even the Christians don't even want to be involved with it. So he can't go to the gangsters because they see right through him. You can't jive a pimp. you can't jive him because he's out front and in the open. He ain't gonna let you take his game. You can't jive him. Now, if you come to him with truth, you'll be able to change him. But other than that, you come with these half-truths and these lies, you won't change him. And so they saw through Minister Farrakhan and began to turn him off. And you already know that in New York, you have a stronger following there of the Nation of Islam as it relates to the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, Farrakhan has gotten an area in New York, but the Nation of Islam is alive and well there. It's also alive and well in Florida. And I say this because it hits all the four corners. When you talk about north, south, east, and west, which was the plan of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, you'll see that these lost and found Nation of Islam is still moving on, is still moving strong. And I say that because Farrakhan's teaching is not original. His teaching is not the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. And you have to know that. You got to know it. And shame on me if I don't tell you. But he's trying to destroy it. If you look on my Facebook, you'll see that I make these claims and I prove it. And here's what's funny. Let me tell you what's funny. Here's what's funny. When I said that Farrakhan called Father Flake a devil his friend, I said he's not teaching the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. That's right, brother. He's trying to get him to believe he's Jesus. And that lets you know he's confused. that lets you know he's confused. Farrakhan is confused. I put on Facebook. If you go back and look at my Facebook page, I put it on there. And I didn't have to do nothing but put that on there. They didn't defend Farrakhan, but they defended these white Muslims joining in the Nation of Islam. They defended it. This one guy, he had came up. Now they got a guy in with sister. Our sister was talking about him the other day. There's a guy in Chicago now that comes from Texas. Brother Abraham, Minister Abraham. A Mexican that he got over black brothers and sisters. Now listen what I'm saying. Understand what I'm saying. The message is to the black man. The message is to the black man. It's not to the Native American, because they're not pure. It's not to the Mexican. It's not to the yellow man. Right? It's not even to the Indonesian. It's not. Unless they're black. Unless they're black. If they're black, then it's for them. But it's not to anybody white. I mean, the message is self-explanatory. Literally self-explanatory. And it's crazy. It's wild because you got this demonic teaching from the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talking about all of them come from Africa. Same thing Jane Elliott is teaching. Farrakhan is teaching and saying the same thing that Jane Elliott is teaching. This white she-devil. They're saying that none of us are white, everybody's black. If the white man can pass this knowledge off of you, he won't have to pay for anything. Brothers and sisters, it's time out for you and I to be letting these devils off. Every time you forgive, it sounds like, and it seems like, they begin to kill at a higher degree. The more you forgive, they begin to kill at a high degree. When will the white man ever be held accountable? There's got to be some places the white man is not able to get in. Got to be some places he's not able to get in, brothers and sisters. And so this white Mexican, he's saying, well, I know I don't look like a real Indian. I know I don't look like a real Indian, but I am. That's what he said. And he said, I'm Apache. And so I looked at him. It's crazy. It's crazy. I looked at him. Here you are looking like a white man. I mean, looking white. There's nothing on him that looks black. Nothing on him that even look brown. There ain't nothing on him that even look yellow, brothers and sisters. 100% cracker. 100% cracker. And this devil sends me a message in the inbox. And he says, I don't have to get a pass from you. I'm black. So what does that mean? When you hear that, what does that mean to you? Hear this devil. They can do everything else. Now they want to, kill you. Be on the side of the white man when he does all manner of things against you. These so-called white Mexicans were the main ones that sponsored Donald Trump when he was telling the police to kill niggas. They were joining up on the police force. And now that black people are exploding around the country, it's happening, brothers and sisters. You better hear me. They ain't going to put it on the media, but it's happening. Pretty soon, they ain't going to have no choice. But as soon as black folks started exploding, then these devils begin to want to be black. Now, the white man has been everything in this world. Literally everything. And now you want to be black. When are we going to hold them accountable? When? This race war, you can't stop it. Farrakhan can't stop it. Like my mentor, Dr. Khalid, told me that there is no chance in hell for the white man to escape this fire that God's about to put on his behind. There ain't no way. No way. And you can't atone somebody white. Now he marched on Washington talking about atoning with white people when he wasn't even speaking to Dr. Khalid Muhammad, a true Muslim and follower of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Farrakhan wouldn't even talk to him when he was having the first Million Man March. He wouldn't talk to him because Dr. Khalid, peace and blessing, Brother Demetrius, Dr. Khalid told him that we've got to have a march that involves all black people. We can't be inviting these white people. Brother Minister, you can't be hanging around this white cracker Catholic priest who's raping kids. It don't look good for us, Brother Minister. It's not the teachings of the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. You should have seen, if you could have been there to see how Farrakhan gradually changed and turned Muslims against the Honorable Dr. Khalid Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, I'm telling you, the deeper you get, the deeper it's going to get, and the more real you get, the more crazy it's going to get. And he didn't set us back another 25 years as far as the revolt of black people are concerned. Listen, you are not going to escape this race war. Why do you think I'm telling you to arm up? You got fake revolutionaries like Malik Zulu Shabazz. Fake revolutionaries. That's right, sister. Unity will hold the white man accountable. That's true. You got fake revolutionaries like Malik Zulu Shabazz and Crystal Muhammad and all of these others, Babu Amawale. I mean it. If you think of them and they out there marching, fakes. Now, what real soldier? And I'm an ex-military man. I'm an ex-military man. I'm a veteran. As a soldier, I would never march my people out before the white man so he can identify them and put them in danger of being caught in broad daylight. Do you hear what I'm saying, brothers and sisters? That the black nationalists, these phony, fake frauds in black nationalist movements, like Malik Zulu Shabazz, Grandmaster J, Crystal Muhammad, Bilal Akbar, these people are leading brothers and sisters out in front of people to get arrested. How the hell are you going to fight a guerrilla warfare? Fight as a guerrilla in the warfare while you're standing in front of the very devil who's able to identify you? You tell me that. How are you going to do it? You put your men in danger, and then these devils go right into the hub. You going down with your soldiers right in front of the district attorney. You're going right in front of the police department. You're going right in front of the ununiformed police and white racist crackers who could point you out, put you in danger. Not only that, but the people they really leave in danger are the people they're supposed to be advocating for. So the person that they're coming to advocate for, when they leave, have got to deal with these devils. That's right, brother. Now they got a profile on everybody. Literally got a profile on everybody. So you can't say that this is a mistake. I don't believe these things are mistakes. You know, some of these guys that in these black militia movements have been marching for 20, 25 years. They have no real plan. We don't know where they're getting the money from to even make these evolutions. That alone is suspect, because I can tell you that if I organize privately to come somewhere, it's always intercepted. Every time I organize privately for an evolution to get people behind the scenes to really push black brothers and sisters that are real revolutionary, get them behind the scenes to go and conduct a real citizen's arrest or to go and really put ourselves in place to fight this devil, to move and reconnaissance evolution. Every time it's interrupted. That's no mistake, because that devil has people planted everywhere. He's got them planted everywhere, and he'll let a fool come in. That's what he does. Anybody that like attention, see, you look at all of the Judases. I want you to pay attention to this Judas factor. All the Judases, what is their main thing? What is their main thing? All the Judases. All you got to do is think about it. All you got to do is think about it. What is the main sickness that all the Judases have? I'll tell you what it is. I'll tell you what it is. The main sickness they have is that they love attention. They love to be seen on camera. They love it. Farrakhan, the way that they got him is that he wanted the attention that Minister Malcolm had. Wallace Waradeen Muhammad, he wanted the position that his father had. So in order to make these things happen, something that the federal government wants anyway, they set it up. They set it up so it could happen. What was the thing with Jesse Jackson? He was drunk with power. Literally drunk with power. What did he want? He wanted the position that Martin Luther King had. What was the thing with Ralph Abernathy? What did he want? And he's supposed to be King's closest confidant. What did he want? He wanted the power and influence that Dr. King had. And here's the whole thing. They didn't really have no power. The only one of them that really had power was the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Why? Because he was building up power through black economics for black people. And with this design, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad had met Dr. King in 1965, and the picture has been carried through the press. You could go and find it easily, a picture of Dr. Martin Luther King and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad sitting and talking. And Muhammad told him that the only way that you're going to get true power is that you revert back to the black community and rebuild black businesses, and we'll have to build this as a unit, irregardless of our religion. We'll have to build it as a unit for the black man, and this was his message to the black man. That's the main message. So brothers and sisters, I've been telling Muslims all day under Farrakhan, you've been had, you've been took, you've been hoodwinked, and you've been bamboozled, led astray, run amok, tucked and tied and told. You have been used by this devil. That's right. Because our brother is right. M5, if he could divert the energy by killing Dr. King, then he would still have the same person. Now, initially, you should have had Minister Malcolm and Dr. King. Minister Malcolm's job was to influence King to get him in. And when a Muslim does upbraiding, he may touch a brother and talk about him, talk about his situation, because he's really talking to the brother. He knows that the media is not going to allow him to talk directly to the brother, and even the brother may be too foolish and ignorant at that time, which Dr. King was, to really listen to Minister Malcolm. And so what he had to do was he had to talk to Minister Malcolm through channels. He had to do it socially, he had to do it through people, and then he had to do it psychologically. And so which would make Dr. King applaud any chance that he could get to actually stand with the brother. And so this works. Minister Malcolm is dead by the time it happened, but it had worked, because in March of 1964, you see the picture of Minister Malcolm and Dr. Martin Luther King after they're coming from the Washington, D.C. And then Minister Malcolm came down to speak again when Dr. King was locked up in jail in Selma, Alabama. So these things had worked. The communication was there, brothers and sisters. The communication was there. But the white man couldn't have that. So what does he do? He killed Minister Malcolm when Minister Malcolm was on his way back into the Nation of Islam. Promise kept. Putting out the fires, speaking highly about the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad. I already gave you the examples. December of 1964, February the 14th of 1965, he leaves Detroit, and he also leaves from doing a speech with another brother we're going to talk about, which is they call him the Black Christian Nationalist. His name is Albert B. Cleage. Albert B. Cleage, who met Minister Malcolm, who was a part of that plan, who was also killed in February of 2000. Khalid Muhammad, when he met Albert Cleage, who warned him about Minister Farrakhan, Dr. Khalid was killed 2001, February the 18th, 2001. The Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was killed February 1975. Come on, brothers and sisters. Minister Malcolm was killed February the 21st, 1965. You think this is a mistake? They had to get these certain people out of the way. Dr. King's aide, Andrew Young, was supposed to be killed. When Dr. King was on the balcony, Andrew Young was supposed to be killed as well. It never happened, but he was supposed to be killed. So you look, Dr. King is killed April 1968. 1968. And they were already making the move to poison the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad because due to his bronchitis, he was taking cortisone. And anybody with any kind of medical understanding or any well-known drug dealer can tell you that cortisone is poisonous to the body. It's very poisonous to the body. And it eventually will begin to blow up the skin. If you look at the latter pictures, in all due respect, of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you could see the weight that he had gained in his face, even though his body was very small. So, brothers and sisters, we've got to be wise to what's happening. Was King the actual target? Yes. After he talked to Minister Malcolm, after he talked to the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, you have a different king. You don't have the 1955 king that's talking about love your neighbor, talking about a better system of segregation. You don't have the 1963 king that's talking about I have a dream. The 1965 king is talking about community of chaos. Why? Because he had heard the message to the black man. He had read this book. He carried weapons. You can pull up Dr. King had a gun. If you pull up on Google, or Dr. King has weapons, if you pull it up on Google, however you want to type it in, you'll see that the FBI and CIA said that Dr. King had a literal weapons arsenal. So what did that tell you? And you say, look, Dr. King didn't carry weapons in nonviolent campaigns, did he? No, he didn't. Look, that's an understanding of that. Dr. King didn't carry weapons while he was doing any campaigns with nonviolence, right? He didn't carry any weapons when he was representing anything dealing with the civil rights movement, right? As an individual, he couldn't do it. Now, you look, there was no difference in him and the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad in a perspective. Muhammad didn't allow his ministers to carry any weapons. We're not taught to be the aggressor. Listen, brothers and sisters. We're not taught to be the aggressor. We don't carry any weapons toward the temple or temple business or anything like that. But do you think we're dumb enough not to carry weapons in our home? Come on, brothers and sisters. Use your head. If Martin Luther King Jr. is one of the most peaceful men in the world, and he believed in weapons, what do you think that I would believe in as a Muslim and a follower of the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad? And they tell you these things, but look, where did the Muslims get the guns? The misguided Muslims. Where did they get the guns? When our brother was filled with bullets. Use your head, brothers and sisters. You got to use your brain. You got to use your brain. In different types of wars, there are different types of teaching. Why would I carry a weapon in an economic war? That's not what I'm there for. Or a religious war, that's not what I'm there for. But when it comes down to the life of my family and the life of the devil that's trying to take the life of my family, that devil's dead. I'm going to use whatever he's using. And I'm going to have it on hand. You don't hear me? So we've got to be wise in our understanding. When an individual is a baby, you give them milk. They can't handle anything else. Milk is all they can handle. Gradually, you begin to step up. The older their system gets, and the more their system they're able to process the food that you give them, gradually, you give them that food. Now, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad's temple and kingdom have nothing to do with anybody white. It won't survive sprinkling white folks in it. Don't forget to subscribe, brothers and sisters. Don't forget to like. And don't forget the thumbs up, please. I thank you. I appreciate it. That's right, Brother Clarence. That's right. Power is only taken by force. Our brother just told us. You can't bring a Bible to a brother that's got a gun in your face or in your chest. Why, he'll think you're crazy. Huh? And he'll kill you with laughter. Now, if a brother got that kind of sense, and he's not a real killer like a white man. He may think he is. There's no brother on this planet that can kill like the white man. The white man is a murderous beast. And his conception of death is nothing like yours and mine. Nothing like yours and mine. Our brother M5 said that King realized that the peaceful path was dead, and you can't meet violence with peace. It won't be respected. Brothers and sisters, you're right. Our brother is right. And we will never get freedom begging this white man. What do we look like begging him for freedom? What do we look like begging him for a job? How many businesses have Minister Farrakhan set up around the country for black people? How many grocery stores? He's talking about farming, and all this is old. This is in the past. But how many grocery stores have you set up? How many people have you hired in the land that you purchased that could work that land? How many poultry are you raising? How many fish ponds are you building? And fish processing centers? How many navy beans are you picking and growing and selling in the stores? How many products are you putting in so your brothers and sisters can buy? But because he has no plan, we're forced to go to Walmart. Those of you that go. And if you do go, you won't even get non-GMO. The devil will force you to get GMO just to make it. It's a shame, brothers and sisters. It's a shame that Farrakhan has no plan. The white man has told him to have no plan. And the white man gives him money to mislead you and I. Oh, you don't believe that, do you? All you got to do is see that a lot of the Muslims under Minister Farrakhan are married to white women. They're married to she-devils. Dr. Khalid Muhammad was complaining about it in 1984, 85. When Farrakhan's own son, with the minister's knowledge, the minister knew about it each time. The very time that it happened, because the girl was coming to visit him on his own ground, on the minister's own ground. This is the truth. And Minister Khalid, as early as then, began to complain about it. Brothers and sisters, what I'm telling you is the truth. And if you don't believe that, all you got to do is check. All you got to do is check. And they were marrying these white she-devils that were calling themselves black. Now, who teaches that knowledge? Jane Elliott. Jane Elliott teaches the same knowledge that we all come from Africa, so we're all black. Isn't that right? Isn't that what she teaches? She teaches that. Why do you think she teaches that? Because she knows what's coming and she's racist. That's a racist teaching. This same lady don't even believe, the same lady don't believe in reparations for black people. And you know what she said? You know what she said, Jane Elliott? She don't even believe in reparations for black people. Now, only a devil would say that. Only a devil would say that. After mine and your family was brought here in slavery. We didn't ask to come. We were taken and brought here. Chained into the bottom of wooden wells, boats. Many of us died along the way in our own feces. Isn't that right, brothers and sisters? And we came here and was forced to work, forced labor. Forced labor. And went through oppression, being hung, being drugged, being tied to trees and split in two. And this devil, she-devil, tells us that she don't think the reparation is good for black people. And you got people like T.I. and other people that are praising this woman. I try to get her on a debate because she thought that she could come on one of my shows, and I forget which one it is. But on this particular show, I said, and you can see her in the comment section. When she came in the comment section, this not long ago, on one of the shows, she said, we're not black and Jesus isn't black. She said that we're not black. That's a racist word. And Jesus isn't black. And you know, in the Bible, it reads that Revelation 1 and 13, that Jesus has hair like lamb wool, eyes as a flame of fire, a voice of the ages. In other words, strong. It says that his feet is the color of brass that's been burned in the fire. Isn't that right? Isn't that what it says? And she's going over this philology now, which is the study of words, that there's no such thing as black and white, and that all of us come from Africa. I mean, here they are paying this lady, and she's able to slip in right in the midst of Dr. King getting assassinated. A white person, not a black person. This is why it's so dangerous to teach integration. Because if you teach integration and the white man is able to come among you while he's still killing you, still robbing you, still raping you, still drugging you, then if he can do this, then he don't have anything to be repentant about. He can do what he want to do and get away with it. It's a shame. So, brothers and sisters, I've been talking about this, even putting it on Facebook, talking all day about it. And You had Muslims defending white people. Listen to this, brothers and sisters. You got black Muslims defending white Muslims. Oh, I should say so-called white Muslims. So-called. Defending them, saying that they can come into the Nation of Islam. I mean, have you ever seen anything like that in your life? And the book clearly says Muhammad's message to the black man. I mean, amazing. Amazing. I don't really understand it. I don't understand it. But I do understand the fact that they have to destroy Muhammad's teaching, because if they do that, then you and I won't think about doing for self. We won't organize our resources to pool it in the community for what's happening. This stock market has fallen. You have to accept that. It's done for. And we haven't felt it yet, but we're about to feel it. Come next year and the year after that, we're about to feel it. Now, when this happens, you're going to have more black people that have than white people. Because it takes less money for a black man or black woman or black family to live than it does white people. Let me say that again. If the market has fallen, right, the white man has lost his job, then he don't know how to make do because he's used to the market upholding all of his bankruptcies, upholding all of his overrun credit and everything. He can file for bankruptcy and all of that and come back in the next week and get everything new again. If there's no market there, he can't do that. Now, you and I that have learned how to make do on a little are going to be able to sustain ourselves. Why? Because it's never taken much for us to live. Isn't that right, brothers and sisters? It's never taken them much. And what the white man probably been through in adulthood, many of us have been through in childhood anyway. Because it was just rough making ends meet on many occasions. I'm sure you would agree. So we're about to be plunged into this race war, whether you want it or not. Whether you want it or not, we're about to be plunged into this race war. And brothers and sisters today are trying to avoid it. Farrakhan's trying to avoid it because he knows that some of our more revolutionary brothers, when they wake up, that'll be doomsday for all the Asians. It's going to be doomsday for all the Asians. You watch and see. Watch and see. It's going to be fair game when they wake up. When these brothers and sisters wake up, it's over. It is simply over. And you won't get through it talking about love thy neighbor. You won't do it. Why do you think these young white boys and killing black people in grocery stores, in the temples, in the churches, in the schools? Why do you think? Why do you think that? Look, it was a Mexican boy, a young Mexican devil, that shot up those children in Uvalde, which were Mexican, white, and black. What do you think is happening, brothers and sisters? See, you when you look at the Mexican, you say, well, the white man is done him wrong too. And so I already know when this break down, he's going to be on our side. Why? You're out of your mind. You'll end up having to kill that Mexican too. He came from Mexico with less than you have. When he come here, he's taking your job. He come here, many of them are taking your women. You don't hear me. Because of this color line. Because of the color line. And he think that he is white and deserve the privilege of white. Why do you think Donald Trump won with such an overwhelming landslide when he ran for president? You got to wake up. You got to wake up, brothers and sisters. That's a fact. And it's my job. I believe that God has had me on here every night on a 30-day marathon. A 30-day marathon. And then after that, we're going to go 3 times a week. But God has plucked me up, right? Plucked me out of this hell that we're in to put out this truth. Because he's raising all of us up, brothers and sisters, to be a mighty army to fight for our own liberation. No African country has ever sustained itself without first building up its own economy, without doing for self, without coming together in unity. In unity, there's strength, right? The white man hates to see you and I standing together. It could be three of us, and he consider it a threat. He don't even want us standing together. But in unity, there's strength. That's what the Bible says. Isn't that what the good book says? In unity, there's strength. And when we all come together, we're going to see that man, and we're going to wonder. Just like the book of Isaiah said in the 11th chapter, in the 14th verse, 14 through the 16th verse, say, is this the one? That's the question they asked about the white devil. They say, is this the man that's in the Old Testament? What man? What man? A kind of man. A kind of man that tortures people, that kill people, is a cannibal, mistreat and kill at will, rape and plunder every place he go. Is this the man? What man? The white man, who did make nations tremble. If you go to Isaiah the 11th chapter, 14 through the 16th verse, you'll see how it reads. It's talking about that white man. There was nothing left to chance. Our elders didn't misteach us. It was a question as to whether we wanted to listen to our elders. They didn't misteach us in Africa, and they didn't misteach us in America. But they told us the truth because they knew that the truth would make us free. If you want to be free, know the truth. And the truth, brothers and sisters, will make us free. Not a half truth. We can't deal with half truth because we're holy and righteous people. Brothers and sisters, didn't you know that there are holy and righteous people right now that don't know any better, that are selling drugs, that are pimping our women out, misusing children? These brothers and sisters have to be turned away from that life. What does the white man teach? How to kill, steal, and destroy. What is he teaching our children today? How to kill, steal, and destroy. Right? He's killing us every day. He's stealing our unity, our love, our knowledge for God every day. He's destroying us spiritually, physically, and otherwise every day. And this is why our Moses, for our Savior has told us to come out from among them, O ye my people. Who is he talking about, brothers and sisters? He's talking about us. We are the people of God. We are the people of God. We are the people of God. Brothers and sisters, it's been one of the roughest days that I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it's been rough today. It's been rough. And all of it because the devil don't want me to put out that truth. Our brother King Kalonji, peace and greetings, brother, unto you. He said he studied ecology in college, and my professor taught that the original man is so-called African, and the so-called European is a mutation of the original man. That's true. That's true. The European is a kind of man. Look, you've got human, which is the aboriginal. Then you got humankind of the aboriginal. Then you got man, which is of the aboriginal humankind. After that, you got mankind, a kind of man. A kind of man. He's not human. He's not animal. He's a hybrid. And many of these people are born with tails. White people, I've delivered, brothers and sisters, when I was in the Army Bureau of Medicine Surgery, Navy Bureau of Medicine Surgery, and I participated in community organizations for all intents and purposes, that are doing the same thing that Sister Joanna teaches about now. Well, they were having their children and using assistance. Look, you don't have to, the body knows how to disperse a baby. God created that body. It can produce a baby, breech or otherwise. The body knows how to do it. You ain't got to do nothing. Women don't need epidural or anything like that. I'm telling you what I saw. What were you doing when you didn't have epidural? Look, you've only been seen in institutions such as hospitals for the last 60 years. Other than that, during slavery, 9-year-old girls were delivering babies. They were trained to do it in Africa, and they continued to do it here, and they were called doulas. This is a fact. So when these whites had birth babies, for all intents and purposes, the whites that were over in the country we were in, these babies were born with tails. Telling you what I saw. I've got pictures too, and I want to try to find them when I learn how to unload them on my phone. The phone I had that died. I need to get that stuff off the SIMS card. But I intend to show you. Now, the sister Goddess Nanu, Sister Joanna, she didn't have any of our children in the hospital. 2 of those births, I was not there to assist her, and she had those babies. So she has natural experience of being a doula. I was there for our youngest boy and helped her, assisted her, because I didn't help her. Her body did the job in that. So I did all that I could to make it as comfortable as possible. But the body did the job. So none of our children were born in the hospital on purpose. 2 were born in a cabin that was, one was born, oldest boy was born in a cabin that we rented. My daughter was, Sister Joanna had her in the piece of her grandmother's home, right there in the shower. And the youngest boy we had was born in the home in a birthing pool. He was most comfortable than anyone. And yes, Sister D, there are many that are standing up giving birth. That's the truth. They were standing up giving birth. And so we don't need the white man. We've been tricked and duped into believing that we need the white man from his house slave. You don't hear me. Farrakhan is a mulatto from that house. You don't hear what I'm saying, do you? Brothers and sisters, the white man has been sneaking and creeping upon our women, producing in air, right, to distort. You got to understand this. When a white man get with a black woman, he's not getting with her out of love, out of sheer love. Now, there's some people telling me right now, brother, wait a minute, brother. Hold on a minute. My daddy is white, or my mama is white. And the only thing I'll say is simply this, is that white people, when they get into relationships, they don't get into relationship the same reason that you do. They don't do it. When they get into a relationship, they got some kind of angle. I don't care if it's sex. I don't care if it's pure sex. When they get into a relationship, they got an angle. I knew a girl in the military. She had dated and married this white man. And boy, this cracker was beating on her. We didn't know it. We found out that he was beating on her, calling all kinds of niggas, because one day she had took off, ran off, and came to over where we were. And at this time, I was inside of the temple praying. The brothers had gotten me, because we had a group with us. Brothers had gotten me, and the sister was trying to get away from him. Come to find out on the first date that this cracker had raped her, and he was beating on her. The sister was embarrassed to tell us. When we found out, we beat the hell out that white boy. I mean, beat him to the door. Beat him to the door. Brothers and sisters, this is what I'm telling you. Brothers, listen. We've got to protect our black sisters, and the best way for us to do it is to marry them and make them respectable women and mothers, brothers and sisters. It don't matter what she is when you find her. I don't care if she's a prostitute when you find her. I don't care if she's on drugs when you find her. We've got to save our black women and deliver them from evil. You don't hear me? For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory. Who? Us. We are the kingdom and the power and the glory. We are God's, and we belong to God. This is the teaching that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching. It teaches you pride. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you how to rescue brothers and sisters that are out there in the world, and to be an example and be a standard of deliverance and salvation, and how to teach brothers and sisters how to stand in righteousness. And that's what we have to do, brothers and sisters. And every day is a day to live in righteousness. Every day. That's why I sacrifice to stand in front of you, because I love you so much. And we work around here. Me and the sisters are working no matter where we are. Always telling brothers and sisters about God, and about them being gods, and about who they really are, where you come from, what your language was. Because see, when you look at the name Jones, Smith, or Brown, or whatever it may be, that's not our name. That's not our name. It's not our name. Some of us had the name of Kenyatta. Some of us had the name of Jomo. Some of us had the name of Absalom. Some of us had the name of Shabazz. We have many names, brothers and sisters. We're known by many names. Did it say that God is known by many names? Well, don't you know that collectively we are God? And collectively we are the person of God to straighten out and till and nourish this planet, both physically, environmentally, educationally, spiritually, and otherwise? That's us. That's who we are. That's who we are, brothers and sisters. Unity, order, and economic is the order we need. That's right, brother. That's what Muhammad teaches. Brother Nagas. Our people were dumbed down using European education, tactics, and religion. That's the truth. Our sister said that they were standing up giving birth. That's the truth. We never needed the white man. Too many of us, our brother said, too many of us with our white daddy frame of thought. My God. My God. And this white mind in black hand is destroying us. Destroying us, brothers and sisters. So when we think of Farrakhan, we have to think of an individual that teaches a knowledge to us that has no identification with who we are as a people, has no identification with our past, no identification of our religion. The reason that the most honorable Elijah Muhammad taught religious righteousness is that it would attach us to our past. We weren't Christian when we came here. And even our form of Christianity in Africa was a perspective that we used under the teachings of the Nation of Islam. Under the teachings of the tribe of Shabazz, under the teachings of African literature, but all of it went back to Islam. But this white man Christianity that he discovered, right, made or took, that's right, brother M5, God versus beast, we're gods versus the beast. When this white man in the first century, 70 AD, about 40 years after the death of Yahushua Aliyah Asa, or the white man called Jesus, because his vocabulary couldn't interpret the purpose of that leader. Right? It couldn't interpret it because he had no understanding. Then it said the wisdom of the parables were kept from the Gentiles. Isn't that right? Isn't that right? Thank you, dear sisters. Peace and blessings be with you. And so we see right? That when this knowledge was kept from the white man, in his confusion, he decided to kill, and he killed millions in the catacomb. He killed millions of blacks coming across the sea from Africa. There were millions that died. Some scholars says 11.6 to 12 million. And once this was over, once he had killed these millions, then he came and put the people on the land and divided that generation, right? By taking and working one 70 years and making him the most torturous example of servitude so that he could get everybody else in line. And after that, you have been trained through blood, sweat, and tears, and death, and hanging, right, to worship the white man, at least on the surface. Because from the time you were brought to slavery to the time the last slave got here, you were still fighting to be free. You were still fighting to be free. Peace, brother. And so, brothers and sisters, there is a design. There is a design to destroy the teachings of do for self, the teachings of black unity, the teachings of black economics, the teachings of black independence, the teachings of black liberation. There is a plot and a ploy have always been, ever since you got here, to distort you from producing what God will have you to produce. I don't know if the sister is ready, but I wanted her to come before us. And I hope that she's ready. I hope that she's able. The sister's been under the weather. And we've all been under it. Under the weather, under this beast. Under this beast. Brothers and sisters, don't forget to like and subscribe and thumbs up. And also, don't forget to buy a book. We're trying to, again, still trying to sell those 7 books. So we ask you to buy a book. We ask you to buy a candy bar. Candy bar, you donate $5 to get a good candy bar that has black interdependent families, and it's for the homeschool group that the sister has that she created, which a lot of children are learning under that. It's called Black Independent Families, and it's on the candy bar that you're buying. All the information, the website is also on that candy bar. Actually, you're donating it, donating $5 for the candy bar. And don't forget, we have books. We're trying to sell 7 books. The link is at the top. You should be able to go to the link and go inside of there and find the book that you want, and just let us know which one, so that we could get it sent to you. Send us your email so we can make sure we get that sent to you. And if you just want to donate, please do that. I'd be lying if I said we didn't need it. And we're not begging, but we have something to give you for it, so you'll be able to see this. We've written the research books on everything that we're saying. We've got actual proof with the FOIA, which is the Freedom of Information Act. So we got actual proof. It's not something that we're making up. We wouldn't do that. But it's actual proof for you, so that you will see that the brothers and sisters on mark, and do we have an error in any way. And you have to understand that the only way that we're going to get by, even religiously or even socially or educationally, because I'm going to set up to start back teaching black history, African history. We're going to teach which is called AAAS, which is African and African American history. So we teach where we come from in Africa, how we got here in America, and how we split it off. So we'll be talking about all of this, from the National Baptist Convention to the Noble Drew Ali to the Marcus Garvey. And both of these brothers are honorable to talk about Master Fard Muhammad. 1931, be talking about the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. How did we get here? How do we, E.C. Morris? We'll be talking about E.C. Morris, talking about, that's the National Baptist Convention. We'll be talking about Charles E. Mason, the Church of God in Christ, the Pentecostal movement. So we'll be talking about all of that. And and bridging it together, because our brothers and sisters need to know, and we want to make this an educational channel as well as a spiritual channel where we can imbue you, and also economics. What we need to do in economics, brothers and sisters, as we said before, you can start a business in your own home. You can start it in your front room to have your grocery store. You can start a radio show. You already know it. Start that in your home. You can start, if you're doing mechanic work, do your display so we can see you and put it on the web so that we can come together and work and have the do for self mentality. As our brother M5 said, it feels like I'm fighting to think for self, right? Due to programming in everyday life. Brother, that's true. That's true. And that's one of the reasons why we have this channel on, so that we can teach you. Are you ready, sister? Sister, are you ready to come before us? I don't think the sister will be before us tonight, but we'll be looking forward to her coming before us tomorrow, because as I said, she's under the weather. It's been a rough day, brothers and sisters. It's been a rough day. They're trying to close the clinic, and we're doing our best to try to keep it on, keep the lights on and everything. You know me. I'm not bashful. I'm going to tell you. So when we put these things out, we're trying to build a group of individuals where we can not only display everything that we're doing, but display what everyone else is doing. Look, there are many of you out there with gifts, many of you that can cook, many of you that can do many things. You do amazing things. And these things need to be displayed. They need to have a reference. And we offer that if you are on the show and you want to display these things, you want to attach it to a website. We have a website, the same website that you see, that you're able to attach these things to, whether it be books or whatever. You'll be able to attach it and be able to display it and be able to sell these things. And we have to come together to be able to do these things, brothers and sisters. We won't do it divided. We have to come together to do it. And this is what Mr. Muhammad teaches. It's a do for self mentality, but we do it in unity. If you know, Mr. Muhammad had the People's Store. If you remember, he had the People's Store. Now, the People's Store was a growth market where black people could go. They had it in the north, and they also had it in the south. And black people could go here to get affordable food. They could go and buy preservatives and things of that nature. They could get whatever they want. You could get whatever you want. Well, we're trying to do the same thing in the future. Get a store for the people, black people, and be able to get car lots where our people can get cars, or either renovate cars or rebuild cars and buy those cars there. We got brothers and sisters in the black community that are intelligent and that are scientific, able to do these things. A community garden and community where black folks are, where black folks are able to go in and get things out of the garden, contribute to planting in the garden and all of those things, so that we can build up the black community. We'll be able to have a fighting chance against Walmart and this man raising up prices and all these other stores that are out there. We need our own stores, our own produce, same as we got in the north, we need it in the south. And having land, what good is it if we're not able to take that land, be able to work out people, create jobs, and get large contracts where we're able to build things up and feed our people. So that lets you know, brothers and sisters, that there's a lot of work to be done. When we talk about building up the black community, building up black economics, there's all these things to think about. And if you could get a car from black brothers and sisters that own them, if you could buy a house from black brothers and sisters that own them, if you could rent these things, then you'll keep this money within the black community. And that's what it's saying. We have, the sister has a home education center. If your child is not doing good in the public school, and you know they're not safe in the public school, why not send your child to this online education system that the sister has and donate toward that? And why not? All you have to do is become a teacher. If you have children, you can become a teacher, and you won't even have to pay anything. You can become a teacher and educate your child and educate other children for free. You won't have to worry about spending all that unnecessary money or anything like that. This is what the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad was talking about when he says, do for self, to come together as a people and pull our wealth. And we can do it, brothers and sisters. We can do this. This is what God has called us to, and we can do it. And the white man don't want this getting out. That's the reason why he was disturbing the show when I first tried to get on, and Brother M5 had a great idea, said, why don't you just restart the show? And I did it. I restarted the show, and I'm wondering, should I leave them both up? Should I leave them both up? I'm wondering if I should do that. But we restarted the show so that we be able to get this word out, because again, the devil's been attacking us every day. Another thing I would like to do, don't forget the thumbs up, like and subscribe, brothers and sisters. Another thing that I want to do is, before I go, another thing I want to do is I want to be able to get venues together, because I had several venues I couldn't even answer today, which was another thing that brought me down, where I would have been able to get out and speak, because the internet continued to act up, and the individual trying to get a message to me wasn't even able to do it. He wasn't able to do it because he was having internet troubles, and we all know where that came from. So we need our own YouTube channel, our own YouTube radio station, and whatever else. Well, we can also have people on the show, and they'll be able to display what they're doing. They'll be able to display what they're doing and come before the people enough to be able to give you the right knowledge, give you the right teaching, brothers and sisters. And so I'm thankful. I'm not going to hold you any longer. I'm thankful very much. Thankful very, very much. I hate that we had that glitch and that disturbance, because I wanted to bring the sister before you to hear what God has given to her. But that's okay, because I'm going to start bringing her up in the beginning of the show, and so that we can hear that wisdom, so that we could get that knowledge for our children, especially the young mothers and the young fathers who may need realistic relationship counseling. We're going to be talking about those things too, as soon as we get beyond this marathon. But you can make it as black brothers and sisters together. It's tough, but I'd rather struggle with my black brothers and sisters than anybody else in the world. And as our brother said, the sad thing that we can do a great thing, but the truth is the enemy. The truth is that the enemy is within. But what we do, brother M5, when we see stuff like that, what we'll do is we'll just work with those that we can work with, and pull our resources. Remember, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad started with a few people, and now he's touched the lives of every black person around and across the planet, both small and great, rich and poor. So if we start, and we just start and we'll be steadfast, unmovable, and always abounding in the word of God, then we'll be able to do it. And don't forget, brothers and sisters, please order a book. And you can also get message from the black man. Get message from the black man with us, and it'll tell you the same teaching that we're teaching you. And we go in depth to let you know how the agents are doing, who they are, and what they're doing to keep us down. So I want to thank you for showing up. And I want to thank you for being here. And I want to thank you for the encouragement for the sister and I, and ask you to continue to dwell with us and be with us, so that we can be what we ought to be before the people, and that this show will be able to answer the call that it answers. And I believe that's all that we have for today. Don't forget that we'll be meeting again tomorrow at 7 o'clock. And our desire and our prayer is to be able to reach you and ask you to be praying for us and praying with us as we're praying for and with you, and be working on the side of God, because God is already on your side, so that we will stay encouraged as one people, being together. We can't do it without you. We can't do it without you. And we want you to know that if you are standing united, and all of us are standing united, to the point that we know and trust each other, that we're able to move forward and do the will of God. And what is God's will? That we will do justice, love mercy, and walk humbly, and that we will be independent, that we will have liberation, freedom, and equality, and the true teachings of religion that will keep us righteous, that we will be able to deliver our children, we will be able to deliver our women, our men, in these dark days. And that's what God has called us to do, brothers and sisters. That's our job, which is a reasonable service of what we can do for the Almighty God, Allah, who has given us breath, life, and strength, and who has showed us the truth about the difference between the truth and the lie, and given us the truth that will awaken us from our death and raise us up to life, awaken us from our slumber, and raise us up to a perpendicular, where we'll be able to stand in the holiness and the righteousness of our mighty God, who empowers us every day and are raising us, that we will raise others from the dead. Brothers and sisters, I say unto you, peace be unto you. Assalamu alaikum.